This is the Midterm English Assessment Review for the International School of Innovation's Grade 10 students for the academic year of 2017-2018. The text and questions, as well as the writing prompts, are similar to the type of format you'll receive in your midterm exam. Listen carefully, since throughout you'll get some hints about real test questions, and also don't forget to use the augmented reality app on your handouts that can also give you hints that are not included in this video as well. Good luck to you! Topics covered for your exam are as followed. Focus on the areas in this test and make sure you revise the theme areas of Pictures from Real Life and The Earth, Our Home. Previous themes also might be embedded inside the writing or theme area of the comprehension text. Okay, more help now, please. How to tackle tomorrow's disasters. Timing is everything. Nowhere is this truer than in humanitarian relief. When disaster strikes, delays can mean the difference between life and death. Timing, however, involves more than a stopwatch approach to emergencies. It also means looking forward, not only to identify the trends that will reshape the humanitarian landscape, but also to harness the forces necessary to respond to them. Any credible vision of the future must recognize that humanitarian needs are increasing. Climate change will be the main driver. 9 out of 10 disasters are now climate-related. Recorded disasters have doubled in number from 200 a year to more than 400 over the past 2 decades. In 2007, my office at the UN issued an unprecedented 15 funding appeals for sudden natural disasters, 5 more than the previous annual record. All but one resulted from climatic events. So welcome to the new normal of extreme weather. Climate change may very well exacerbate chronic hunger and malnutrition across much of the developing world. In addition, it will almost certainly precipitate battles over resources. No nation, rich or poor, is exempt from nature's destructive potential. However, nature is not the real problem. We are. Be it through dangerously high emissions of greenhouse gases, depletion of essential resources, or reckless urbanization, we are creating a house of cards that could mean humanitarian catastrophe for millions. Too often, we do not take the simple precautions that can reduce loss of life and livelihoods. Natural disasters need not automatically result in human calamity or erode years of development gains. From planting back mangrove trees to bicycle and bullhorn early warning systems, many of the most effective tools are about mobilizing people, not expensive technology. Bangladesh has cut dramatically its disaster death toll using such simple, cost-effective methods. From planning preparedness to financing, we need to act now if we are to reduce our vulnerability to hazards. In addition, we need to act together. As we saw in Myanmar during Cyclone Nargis, isolation is not an option when the scale of a disaster exceeds a government's ability to cope. If climate change is the most fundamental factor, the global food crisis is the immediate problem. The knock-on effects extend far beyond hunger to include child malnutrition, lower primary school attendance, and not least, increased political instability. I fear that today's food crisis is but the opening act in a larger drama in which swaths of the developing world will suffer acutely. Within our children's lifetimes, how will we feed 50% more people while using 50% less carbon energy, which the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says an imperative to avoid environmental chaos? We must address the problem at its roots. A vital first step is to bolster the yields of subsistence farmers by providing them with seed and fertilizer. In the longer term, we need a green revolution in every sense of the term: agriculturally productive, environmentally sustainable, and revolution in every sense of the term: agriculturally productive, environmentally sustainable, and economically profitable. Scaled up financing for African agriculture, including investments in crop adaptation, topsoil preservation, drip irrigation, all this and more is urgently required. Meanwhile, human conflicts will, like the poor, always be with us, whereas wars between states are less frequent. Internal conflicts and the humanitarian consequences show little sign of disappearing. At every global hotspot, humanitarians come armed only with principles, not guns. Unfortunately, respect for international humanitarian law, especially the responsibility to protect civilians, is in scarce supply. Humanitarians are being deliberately targeted. The ability to maintain a neutral humanitarian space in which aid workers can operate safely and impartially, independent of political and military objectives, is under tremendous pressure. In a post-September 11th world, this independence is a practical, life-saving necessity, not a naive humanitarian longing. Of course, humanitarian action is a necessary but insufficient response to suffering during conflicts. It cannot be a substitute for political solutions and should not serve as an excuse for their absence. What is to be done? First, states must expend more effort and resources on these solutions. Second, politicians must respect humanitarian principles, while humanitarians themselves need to build more bridges with local actors to engender trust, the cornerstone of any aid effort. Third, we must create innovative partnerships with regional organizations, the private sector, and the Islamic world to broaden the base for humanitarian support. Above all, whether for conflicts or natural disasters, we need to mobilize more resources to meet rising demands and legitimately rising expectations. Our principles will be of little use without the money to back them up. Okay, class, let's give a big hello to the camera since it's your first time. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, now let's read the first question and give some sample answers. Who would like to read? Go ahead.
Is the writer of the above text successful in his choice of the title explained? He was successful when we wrote more help now, please, because we need help and solutions now, before the climate change issue deteriorates further. But the title How to tackle tomorrow's disasters doesn't tackle the whole main point of the text, since he talked about a lot of consequences of climate change, like natural disasters and more.
Excellent. I like your answer. Who would like to share their answer as well?
Me.
Go ahead, Brahim.
Yes, since the title More Help Now Please is a summary for everything that the writer meant from writing this text.
Very good. Also an excellent answer. Would you like to share yours, Asra? Go ahead.
Yes, the writer was successful in his choice of the title, since many natural disasters are happening because of human. People are suffering and many poor people. I think that we really need more help to deter tomorrow's disaster from happening.
Very good. Excellent answer. Would you like to share yours now, Hadi? Go ahead.
The writer of the above text is talking about the humanitarians and the possible ways to save our planet from the most dangerous disaster, which is the dangerous destructive potential. And the writer is talking about the help we need to save our planet. Therefore, the writer is successful in his choice.
Very good. Anyone else would like to share their answer?
Yes, because help tackle tomorrow's disasters and using functional solutions for disaster.
Very good. Excellent. You guys can all give yourself full credit on that question. Okay, now let's go to question number 2. Who would like to answer? Question number 2.
Uses.
Yes, go ahead, Isra.
What is the writer's piece? The spread is in place. It's almost clean in hands to respond to now. You can notice the end of the purple one.
Okay. Does anyone have a different answer?
I'm the same.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, what's yours, Ibrahim?
The right of this statement is brief in paragraph 2 at the end of it, and in 2017 to current events.
Okay. Now, I want to make sure that your choice is telling us a statement that is the central idea of all of the text, that all of the text is related to. Now go to paragraph 3 and read the end of paragraph 3, the last statement in paragraph 3. Read it out loud, someone. What do you think of this statement? Compare it to the one in paragraph 1 where you would usually find the thesis statement. Compare those two statements. Which gives a better picture of the whole text's idea?
Like the last sentence in paragraph 3, they're only like saying that no battles of the resources we have.
Okay.
But they didn't mention all the effects and all the causes in the text. They didn't talk about the effects the text is talking about.
Okay, so you believe that the last sentence in paragraph 1
Yes.
is more general?
Yes. They say like to reshape the humanitarian landscape and also to respond to harness the forces necessary to respond.
Okay, now what about the one in paragraph 2 as you were talking? Paragraph 5, go ahead. Read it, please. Okay, read the question loudly.
Locate the irony in paragraph 3 and then explain it. The irony is, so welcome to the new normal of extreme weather. The new normal. This means that the extreme weather due to climate change will naturally be our weather all around the world. That means that the temperature of the whole globe will rise and thus our normal weather will become warmer.
Very good, excellent, excellent. So the first sentence of paragraph 3 is the irony. Okay. What is welcomed?
So welcome to the new normal.
As the new
normal.
normal weather is practically abnormal. This is the explanation. Since it is basically the cause of so many suffering and disaster. Okay, now select from paragraphs 4, 5, and 6 a figure of speech and then state the purpose behind using it. Who would like to share their answer here?
I made it up where anyone.
Okay.
It shows Bangladesh has cut dramatically its disaster that like you can't cut a disaster.
Okay, very good.
Um,
Very good. Okay, I'll consider that correct.
it means that the number of deaths has lessened in Bangladesh by providing simple solutions since you can't really cut number of.
Okay, I will accept it. What type of a figure of speech is it?
It's like personification. You've got something that's it can be
Okay, okay,
my grandfather.
okay, I'll accept it. Brahim, your answer?
I said that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change said it's verification,
Okay, also.
since only humans can say it.
Okay, very good. So the panel cannot say. Very good, excellent. That's also considered a correct answer. Do you have an answer?
I wrote it, but I didn't explain
Okay, go ahead.
it. Figure of speech is creating the house of cards,
Okay, excellent.
and I thought it's a metaphor.
Excellent.
Great.
So if you have the type of figure of speech, give yourself a half a point. And if you have the explanation correct, you can give yourself another half a point. So if you don't have the explanation, just give yourself half. We are creating a house of cards. Heedless and dangerous human activities are compared to a house of cards, which is like gambling, that may shatter the lives of millions. Such a metaphor bears a warning sign to humans to take the simple precautions that can reduce loss of life and livelihoods, instead of gambling with human lives just for a few dollars more. Okay, so that's the explanation. Okay, who would like to read this question and give some answers? Go ahead.
Skip paragraphs 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8 to spot out the negative world effects played by the global warming, climate change, and the human activities in exacerbating disasters. Make sure to use phrases on human activities, emission of greenhouse gases, reckless urbanization, not taking simple precautions, and depletion of essential resources.
Okay, very good. Excellent answers. Who would like to share their answers as well if they're a little different? All the same?
Climate change.
Okay. Can you go ahead and talk to me about climate change, Isra?
Global food crisis, lower primary school attendance, increased political instability, chronic hunger.
Okay, great. Let's just write some of these down as samples for your reference when you watch the video. Not taking simple precautions. All right. Okay, so let's look at the part C. Who can answer for me? Part C, go ahead, Ibrahim.
The following statements are false, write them correctly. 70% of disasters are now climate related. 90% of disasters are now climate related.
Okay, excellent. So it's not 70%, it's 90%. All right, number 2. Go ahead, Zainab.
Climate change keeps human material stable. Climate change and makes humanitarian needs unstable and reflect international humanitarian laws.
Okay, great. You can give yourself credit if you've done something similar to this. Or you can say that climate change necessitates an increase Exactly.
Most humanitarian are the ones helping.
Yes.
I read of the dictionary, they said that human suffering.
Humanitarians are those who help the ones that are suffering. So humanitarian needs are people who suffer. Their needs.
Humanitarian as humanitarian. It's human suffering, isn't it?
The needs. Humanitarian needs are.
Because I found on the dictionary they said humanitarians and human suffering. Can I see it on the
Humanitarians help humans who suffer. Humanitarian needs are those who suffer, their needs. Okay?
Yes.
So if they're saying needs, that means the ones who are suffering, it's what they need to continue to live.
Because I wrote indeed that humanitarians are the ones suffering. So
You confuse the two.
yes.
We have the poor people in mind.
Okay, so what interest does each of the following types of audiences find in the text? Go ahead, tell me about the lenders.
The lenders of the rich countries will help the poor people in mind.
Okay, so they are the ones that make the decisions. They are the decision makers. The ones who offer an advanced help needed for future disasters. Okay, what about humanitarians?
It would push humanitarians to work against the climate change, find solutions, and to help people suffering from hunger and malnutrition in poor countries due to global warming.
Excellent answer. Who would like to share their answer as well? Yes, Zainab? Okay, very good. You can give yourself full credits for that as well. So the above text gives the motive to be ready to help. Okay, let's look at the pattern of organization for each of the following. Sentence 2, paragraph 6. Who would like to share? Yes, Isra?
Sentence 2, paragraph 6. Now, an effect extends far beyond hunger to include child malnutrition, lower primary school attendance, and not least increased political instability.
Okay, so.
The pattern is listing pattern.
Okay, very good. Listing.
I said cause effect.
I said cause effect.
Excellent. So either answer is correct.
I would say informs.
Inform is not the pattern of organization, but the purpose. Okay? The next one, sentence 1, paragraph 8. Go ahead. Yes.
Meanwhile, human conflicts will like the poor always be with us. I wrote it, a problem solution.
Okay. You can either say it's chronological order or comparison.
Human conflicts will...
So can you please repeat the way that you're thinking? Can you please repeat?
They said meanwhile human conflicts like the poor will always be with us. I wrote it's a problem solution since they said human conflicts like a problem and they will provide a solution.
Okay, I will accept that. I will accept that. Okay. Listing. Why do you think it's listing?
Because the project here isn't problem solution, it's give us a solution. They just said that the human conflicts were likely for always be the case.
Yeah, but she explained what she provided text evidence that this part of the text is the solution, as she said it. The way she provided the text evidence, I will give her credit for that answer. Because of her explanation. And if you're also able to give me text evidence that it's listing, I would also give you credit for this question. Okay, while you think of that, let's go to the vocab and then we'll come back to you, okay? Alright, who would like to try number 1, the vocab? Go ahead, Hadi.
Taking too much time or postponement. Delays.
Excellent. Delays. Alright, the next one, go ahead, Ibrahim.
Useful and logical. Legitimate.
Practical.
Practical, very good. Activate or move?
Mobilize.
Mobilize. Good job, girls. Okay, undernourishment, Zainab? Malnutrition. Okay, very good. Okay, here's a quick note for you about tone versus mood and what tone is. So make sure you know, okay, that the author's own attitude towards the subject is what? Tone. And that reveals the author's intention or purpose of writing. Now, the mood is the emotion the author wants the readers to feel, or the text atmosphere and feeling. Both of them are not given explicitly. Both of them must be inferred, and you have, of course, handouts that have tone words and mood words. For you, I can print them out for you as well. If you have lost them or don't find them, you can go back to the school website and go to our class and you'll find them as well. Okay? Okay, let's take a sample writing from a few of you.
You don't need a reason to help people. Kind acts cost nothing. Everyone should offer help without waiting for a payback. Because by doing good to people, you're not only helping them, but also helping your inner self, peace, and humanity. And the world needs more humans offering love, care, and help. I once gave a friend a helping hand for certain causes, but out of moral obligation. When I moved to a new school, I met a classmate and we shared the same seat. Gradually, we became best friends. She was the most kind-hearted friend I've ever met, although her financial status weren't that well. Once she invited me to have lunch at her home, but when I arrived, it was worse than I thought. The walls were unpainted. They had old few furniture around. I was so sad for her, especially when I knew that her father had left them at a young age and her mother had to do both father and mother work. But I didn't let her recognize my pity for her. On my way home, I felt really sympathetic toward her. I thought about her family for too long, imagining myself in her shoes, how hard my life would be. I loved her so much, and seeing her in that situation was so hard. As I arrived to my house, I looked around and remembered hers. I wanted to help her so bad. Standing in front of my closet, I packed up all the clothes I would give up for her, and I asked a lot of my other friends and relatives if they could offer help to someone in need. And fortunately, they responded. I had a whole pile of food, clothes, rugs, and other stuff they would need around their house. The next day, I delivered the boxes to her doorstep, rang the bell, then hid. I didn't want her to feel any kind of my pittiness toward her, since that might hurt her. I could hear her and her siblings celebrating around as they took the boxes inside. My happiness then was indescribable. Helping that girl wasn't a must, but seeing her in that situation awakened my sense of humanity. I look further for helping more people, and for her I should be grateful, since she was my first step to offering help, and she was the one who aroused my humanity. We must make a better place of this earth by offering help and love. We must spot the humans and humanity.
Excellent. Beautiful. Great job. Go ahead.
Being kind is important, since kindness in words creates confidence, and thinking creates profoundness, and giving creates love. Offering help to the needy is not only a social obligation, but it's also a moral commitment. Helping others shows your positive character traits and reveals your kindness. Sometimes just a scene can force your heart before your brain to go on help. A very kind-hearted, with a beautiful angel face, was once a student in a school I used to teach in. Once something was not found in the class, and the teacher there thought of looking in their bags to see if somebody stole it. She started looking in them until she reached her. She refused to show her the bag, so she sent her to the school supervisor. I was sitting there since I had some work to do with her. The teacher opened her bag and removed everything from it. She found a plastic bag full of food eaten by others. The supervisor wanted to know the reason of collecting them. She started speaking, and every word was like a stone falling on my head. The small girl told her that she used to be late to get to the class after the first and second break, to collect the food left by the students. Since her father was dead and her mother got shocked after knowing the death of her father, so she became fully paralyzed. She continued saying that she collected them to feed her siblings, since she was the elder, and they didn't have anyone to help them. The supervisor let her return to the class, and then I asked about her house, where she lives, the number of siblings, and many more information. I then took the first big step to start helping her family. Day after day, I started putting in front of the door some food, fruits, vegetables, and clothes. I put someone in a box of chocolate that I never say that I was the person helping. But then, I thought of visiting them. They told me about the unknown person helping them. They told me they were really happy and they didn't think one day that someone would help them. I felt a very strange feeling and I was really happy. A little thought and a little kindness are often worth more than a great deal of money. All of us should unite to help make a successful foundation, to help eradicate poverty in our country. We should all think about talent and smartness hidden behind curtains of poverty. We should make a country the best and perfect sample for any other one.
Yeah, Bakhair. Beautiful. Excellent. Excellent.
I want to wish everyone in our class like the best wishes and study hard for their exams and yeah.
Thank you so much, Zainab, and welcome to our class.